Alright, so hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're going to take a quick look at the one and only Stradavar Prime. Now, first things first, to get the Stradavar Prime, you will have to crack open some relics, just like with any other primed item. The blueprint is a rare drop from the now S11 relic, the barrel is an uncommon drop from the glyph M4 relic, the receiver is a common drop from the Meso Z3 relic, and finally the stock is a common drop from the Axie T2 relic. The Stradavar Prime, just like the standard Stradavar, comes with two different fire modes, a fully automatic and a semi-automatic mode that you switch between by pressing the secondary fire button. And it's not just a fire mode change, because the stats for each fire mode are completely different. Now, the weapon requires you to be at least Mastery Rank 12 to use it, unless you bought it with Prime Access or Platinum, then you can use it right away. And for the full auto mode, the weapon does 30 damage per shot with 10.5 as impact, 10.5 as puncture, and 9 as slash, with 24% crit chance, a 2.6 times crit multiplier, and a 12% status chance. And it can fire up to 10 rounds per second. Now, for the semi-auto mode, the damage jumps all the way up to 80, with 48 being slash, 24 being puncture, and only 8 being impact. It has 30% crit chance with a 2.8 times crit multiplier and 22% status chance. But unfortunately, the fire rate will go down to 3.33, which is pretty low, and it means that there will be a delay between each shot, and you simply cannot fire as fast as you can click unless you add a lot of fire rate. Also, the semi-auto mode will drain 2 rounds per shot. Though one additional benefit that you get here is that you get innate punch through, 1 meter of it, which is very nice. And other than that, the weapon is very accurate in both modes, though the full auto mode is a little bit less accurate. It has 90 rounds in the magazine with 540 rounds in total and a reload time of 2 seconds, and it comes with 3 V polarities, which is extremely nice for a primary weapon. And that means that the 2 builds I have for you today don't require any Forma whatsoever. You just need to slap on a potato and get the weapon to its maximum rank. The first build is a little bit more front-loaded, and it's running Ration for damage, Split Chamber for multi-shot, Point Strike for crit chance, Vital Sense for crit damage, then Organ Scope for additional crit chance on a headshot when you're aiming down sights, and then High Voltage and Malignant Force for corrosive, and Thermite Runs for heat. Now, this one, while not as strong as the second build, does feel better in the low level, sort of your 50s to 70s, because, as I've said already, it's far more front-loaded. And it's also tailored far more towards the full auto mode rather than the semi-auto mode, because you want to proc corrosive a lot. 1 or 2 stacks of corrosive aren't gonna do that much. Though it will still perform admirably with the semi-auto mode, especially when you're fighting something really tough and you want as much damage as possible. However, if all you want is just big, chunky damage, this is the build I would run instead. This one's running Ration for damage, Split Chamber for multi-shot, Point Strike for crit chance, Vital Sense for crit damage, Organ Scope for additional crit chance on a headshot, then Hunter Munitions for additional slash procs on a crit, and finally we have Malignant Force and Rhyme Rounds for viral damage. Now, this one is not as front-loaded as the first one, but it scales a lot better as the enemies grow in levels. So it will blast through the star chart because it has more than enough front-loaded damage for that. Then it will sort of start to lose to the first setup between levels 50 to 70, but as soon as you go up to 80, 90, 100 and beyond 100, it will start to win again. Pretty hard, actually. And it's also far more effective with the semi-auto mode rather than the full auto mode, because the damage distribution is tilted more towards slash, you get more crit, more status, and generally more damage. And it's also far more versatile, because if you have viral and slash, it doesn't really matter which faction you're fighting, you're still gonna reduce their health by half and then bypass armor and shields or whatever, whereas the actual corrosive proc is only effective versus armor. So it's kind of up to you as to which one you choose based on what you're doing, or you can just have both and switch between them. So there we go, the Stradavar Prime, not bad at all, though if I were to complain about one thing, it would definitely be the fire rate on the secondary fire. I would prefer it if it was at least 4, maybe 5, because adding fire rate, especially to the second viral build, is not really doable without breaking the build or losing a considerable amount of damage. The only reasonable way of adding fire rate there is either via an arcane or via a ribbon that would replace one of the mods that you already have there, but also would have fire rate at the same time. But that's more of a problem with crit or hybrid builds in general, and not really the weapon. I would just like to be able to add a little bit more fire rate without having to use arcane acceleration or a ribbon. But that's pretty much my only complaint. Other than that, the weapon is actually quite nice and I've had a lot of fun with it, so I would highly recommend you check it out. It's just a solid and fun primary, or 2 primaries rather, because the 2 different fire modes really feel completely different. And I think I've been blabbering for long enough, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!